Welcome back to the Chasing Tone podcast. Hi, Blake.
Hi, Brian. Oh, it's nice to be back.
It is nice to be back, isn't it?
It's splendid.
It's been 10 to 14 days or so, I believe.
I know, it's too long. I need my fix.
I know. It's we had Gear Fest, and then we had Summer NAMM right after that, and yeah, it's been a crazy couple weeks. So I just got home like a day ago, and here I am.
Here we are, and we're back to doing what we love and loving what we do.
Yes, one might say, how can you possibly think of talking about guitar stuff when you've been talking nonstop about guitar stuff for 2 weeks? And I would say, actually, I had some questions along this line at the show, and I said, it's not like we're selling gravel or anything, right? I mean, like, it's not hard to talk about something that you like. So, if we're like doing a gravel podcast, be like, hey, so like there's this new type of gravel. It's made out of a special limestone.
Brian, hi, did you check out the latest gravel? This is the gravel podcast, and where we talk about how much better 3/4 minus is than the other competition.
Right. So anyways, so I had a great time at NAMM. I got to check this out.
Okay.
I got to play with someone who was a fairly big influence on me because I'd played his songs in country bands a lot over the years.
Okay.
So I got to play like a popular song they had with the guy, right?
Okay.
And
who's the guy?
You may not know him or the band because it's a little before your time.
Okay. So it's pre-1997. Okay.
No, it's after that, I think.
Okay.
So there's a band called Trick Pony. Do you remember them?
Yeah, that name actually does sound familiar.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I heard them at some point.
So they had a song called Pour Me. With the rest being Pour Me Another Shot of Whiskey.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, so... And, I'd played this song in bands like tons of times over the years. And so I found out that I did a little Walter jam, little Walter 2-band jam.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, where they have like lots of artists come out and stuff. And Phil Bradbury, the owner of Little Walter, paired me up with Ira Dean of Trick Pony, the Trick Pony fame. I think Ira actually wrote that song, or at least had a hand in it, or somewhere along. Ira started the band Trick Pony.
Okay, gotcha.
So like, he's like, do you know this song? And I'm like, yeah, I've only played it like 4,000 times, just not like with the Trick Pony.
Right. That'd be Mr. Trick Pony to you, sir. Exactly.
So I'm like, all right, let's do this, man. So yeah, we played a couple songs, and actually, by the time that this podcast comes out, you'll be able to check that out on YouTube, vlog number 15. On
Sweet.
the YouTubes. Yep, you'll be able to see some of that footage from that.
I might actually watch that one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool, man. It was cool. So it was a little surreal because I'm like, this is a little different than like playing the cover song with a cover band. This is like, it's like, what's a good analogy? It's like playing basketball with Michael Jordan or something,
Yeah, exactly. I love that. That's really cool. You're having all these instances. You had George Lynch calling you on the phone. Now you're playing, with Trick Pony, Mr. Trick Pony himself.
Mr. Trick Pony. Yep.
And that's really rad. That's cool.
Yeah. So it was, I was just ecstatic, man. Everything went well. For some reason, I don't get nervous playing. Like I just, or even talking in front of people. A lot of people, and I'm fairly introverted, as you know. So, I mean, for some reason, it's not really odd for me to like get in front of a group of people and just start talking. Like I don't get nervous leading up to it or anything like that. Because I guess I figure, what's the worst that can happen? I look stupid. I already look stupid, so I got that covered.
It's not going to get any worse,
right? Like I can't look dumber. I already look dumb. So
I think I have a similar. Yeah, I feel a similar way.
Do you?
Yeah, not with playing so much because I haven't done that nearly as much as you have. But yeah, it's talking in front. Obviously, I have no problem talking. That is not a weakness of mine, is the inability to speak. As much as my wife would wish that it was sometimes. But no, I'm with you on that. I have no problems getting in front of a group, which you did actually do at NAMM.
And that's why I brought that up about the speaking part. Because, we actually did it should be on the NAMM website here within the next week or two, I think. Basically, it's a panel like a bunch of pedal builders. I know there's me and Josh from JHS, Joe Corte from Chase Bliss, Cusack. Holy crap! I know, who am I missing?
Brian Wampler,
me, Cusack, Corte, Josh.
That was it, wasn't it?
No, I think there was someone else. I think there was someone else. Anyways.
We feel terrible.
If there's someone else, I'm so sorry. My mind is totally drawn a blank here. I see an empty, a chair, and I'm like, who else was in that chair? I know it was somebody.
Well, there's the moderator.
The moderator, yes. Yeah. From, I think, was it Vintage King, I think? Vintage King?
Sounds right.
Or Carter right. Vintage, or one of those music stores down there.
I think it was Vintage King. Anyway.
Vintage King, yeah. Let me turn my email off here. So that was pretty cool. I mean, they just asked a lot of questions. Actually, they kind of dove into some of the marketing stuff. Why
wasn't I there?
And I think they kind of started tailoring towards us talking to other people who are building pedals rather than I think the audience is mostly of pretty much people in the music industry rather than people who are buying pedals, right?
Right.
So we kind of dove a little bit along that lines, and a little bit of the way we design things, and so anyways, I think the talk came out okay. It ended a little bit prematurely. So just because of time constraints, there's a really good last question, and we only got halfway through it, and they're like, yep, you guys are out of time. Sorry, pack it up and go.
Yeah. So, that's the way it always goes, That
was kind of a stinker.
But, well, what can you do?
Not much in that situation except, throw chairs.
Well, you could have.
Go all Bobby Knight on him.
Just reach over and just punch the guy out. I'll tell you when I'm finished. I will tell you when I'm finished. You invited me here, remember? I'm the one with the microphone. Yeah, that's
you know who Bobby Knight is, right? The IU coach? See, this is before your time, too. Bobby Knight.
Sports ball? Is this sports ball?
Yes, this is IU, the college, Indiana University. Basketball's huge in Indiana, of course. And it's been several years ago. A bunch of years ago, actually. But he got very mad during the middle of a game and threw a chair across the court. And, and he got removed from the game, of course. But, yeah, he was kind of known around here as the guy that throws chairs whenever he gets mad.
Well, it's an easy outlet for your aggression. It's better to throw a chair than a dude. Like my dad always told me, it's better to throw a chair than a dude. That's what my dad always said.
Yeah. I guess that's true.
Because the chairs can't throw you back. See, that's the great thing about it.
That's true. Mm-hmm. Not very easily.
And if they can, we got bigger problems.
Right.
So
so I was looking back at this footage on YouTube of me playing a gig, and I'm like, I can't decide whether I've reached that middle-age hump or kind of starting to look like Roseanne Barr, except I look like Roseanne Barr riding a chicken around because my legs are so skinny. So it's weird, looking at all this footage. It's just weird.
That's not the celebrity I would have said you resemble. I don't know who that celebrity is, but that's probably not who I would have picked. But that's pretty funny.
You don't know who Roseanne Barr is? Oh my gosh!
No, I know who that is. I didn't say that.
Oh, okay. I
said that's not who I would have picked that you looked like.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
yeah. I'm but a wee lad, but I'm not. I watch Roseanne all the time, for crying out loud. John Goodwin's a hero of mine.
Sure. No, anyways. Oh, check this out. Total ADD moment. I just saw a new review that says, found this podcast through Leslie Wampler. Thanks, Wampler family. That's some Razzle Dazzle Pudding Pops on iTunes.
Castle pudding pops. I like that person. I really like that person.
Oh, this is what happens whenever we ask for reviews. This is the next one. This is almost just as good. This is from contributor 123. Nothing to do with tone. It is the headline. This is the worst workout podcast I've ever heard. I've been chasing the perfect toned legs and arms for decades now, and I can tell you with absolute authority this podcast when I help you achieve your workout goals. 4 stars. 4 stars because my fingers are too thick with muscle to select the 1-star option.
Okay, that one's awesome too. That's fantastic.
Oh, so my goodness.
That's great. No, this podcast definitely will not help you with your tone of your legs. That is a true review. So
yeah, I got a kick out of that. And we did get a 2-star review. Apparently, people don't like you.
Oh well, that's not surprising.
But they think they got your name totally wrong. Like it is nowhere near what your name is. So.
Oh, well, so am I Leslie? Do they think I'm Leslie?
I don't know, but here's another, there's another one that's a 1-star review, and it's fun and says it's fun and informative, and they like it, and they I don't know.
But it's a 1-star review, but it's fun and informative. What's negative about that?
I don't know. The only thing I can think of is at the end. It says there is some unfunny, drawn out jokes, forced laughter, and general BS to wade through to get any useful information. So
that sounds like a 2.5, not a 1.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's more like a C, on a grading scale. Not necessarily like a D. That's more like a C, I think.
Yes, I agree. I agree. All right, so, I do have some questions for you.
Sure. That concludes the review section of the podcast.
Right. Everyone needed that desperately in their life.
Yes.
So, NAMM. I know you were chained to your booth for a little while. Probably the whole time, mostly. But did you get the chance to get out and scope anything out that was super rad?
Well, I did get the chance to get out, yes. I didn't see anything I would call super rad. Mm-hmm. Usually the super rad stuff happens at Winter NAMM.
That's true. That is true.
Summer NAMM is kind of more of it's actually a lot more Nashville guys coming to the show, and we do a lot in Nashville, so a lot of friends hanging out and playing stuff. I don't know, it's just a fun time.
Just much more laid back is what I gather.
Way more laid back. A lot less business goes on there, but it's still good. It's still good. So, but I did get a chance to walk around and see some stuff. Hung out with Big Ear NYC.
Oh, Grant, yes.
Grant, yep. Mm-hmm.
He put together a pretty cool operation down there for that.
Yeah, so he had a booth that had a bunch of different brands, even like Keeley, and I think he had some of your stuff, right?
That's the word on the street.
Well, I wasn't on the street. I was actually in the convention center. But
yeah, I mean, there may or may not have been something to do with me down there. I don't know.
So he had a really cool booth.
Yeah.
Then let's see. I did get to hang out with Robert Keeley for a while, which I don't usually get to do. I don't know. Did
he cook you dinner?
That's the bad thing. No, he didn't offer to cook or anything.
Oh man,
I was disappointed. I'm like, what in the world, man? What are we doing standing here? Get out the grill, dude. I see your Instagram all the time. You know how to cook.
Yeah, that guy's got the chef chops.
Yes.
I was talking to him a couple weeks ago. Actually, I was talking about the show that we did a while back where we were talking about cooking with Keeley in the kitchen, in the Tone Kitchen. That should be his new show.
Yes.
And I was talking to him about that, and he's like, you know what? I'm actually about to go pick me up. I think it was he had shipped over, what was it? I think somebody had sent him some fresh Maine lobster, a fan of the company or a friend or something had sent him some fresh Maine lobster, and he was getting ready to prepare a fine meal, and he went through all the details of what he was going to cook with me, and I was kind of mad that I wasn't there, to be perfectly honest. So, yeah.
No, I didn't talk to him about that. Mostly about guitar pedal stuff.
Okay. Wait. Wait, no, this isn't a food podcast. Okay, I have to shift gears.
You're making me hungry now.
Uh-huh.
So no, we talked about spin stuff, and we talked about shark stuff, and we talked about all kinds of, if then what commands, and it's great, awesome.
So spins and sharks and stuff. I know what you're talking about. Maybe you need to elaborate for people a little bit. What's a spinning shark?
A spin is a type of chip that a lot of people who are, for the past couple of years, who are kind of getting more into a little bit of the digital side. It's kind of a good platform to jump in on that. A little bit easier to learn some of that stuff on spin. Mm-hmm. Shark is it's just basically another way to do digital. And
more powerful, right?
Yeah, and there's other chips and other ways to do it as well. And I say shark because we've been looking at shark a lot lately. So, but we may go with something else. But so the whole idea is that spin, while the barrier of entry is easy because it comes pre-programmed with some effects on it. They're just wow. They're they're not super great, but they're usable. It's more like for an example type of thing,
like a platform to work off of type of situation.
Yeah. So you can look at it okay, well, here's the delay algorithm, and it kind of helps a guy going from analog to digital, kind of helps him break that barrier and kind of get his feet wet in it. So it was popular. I know a lot of not a lot, but some of the Earthquaker stuff is based in that. New Neighbor stuff based in that, I believe. Keeley stuff has been based in that. Not everything, just the digital side stuff. Mm-hmm. So that's not because it's necessarily easy. It's just there is some ease to it. There's readily available, quick, and you can get new products out quicker because the coding isn't so tedious. Basically it's like a chip that has kind of everything built into one, so you don't need external processors and external RAM and external this and that's, right? Versus if you use other chips, you do have to have those external components, but gotcha. You can do a heck of a lot more. So for example, you're not going to build a fractal with a spin chip. Just ain't going to happen.
Right. Okay. I'm following you.
Nowhere near the RAM or processing power or anything like that. So anyways, so we talked about some of that kind of stuff because, I don't know, I find that stuff interesting. Mm-hmm. And Robert has a team that's really good at doing that sort of stuff as well.
Yes. Yes.
Creighton is one of his main guys, I believe, and Atlee, I think, is another guy I met that, mm-hmm. Doing really good stuff with in the digital world, I believe. So
now, speaking of Creighton, mm-hmm. So this is an old post, but I still remember it to this day. Rob posted a video of him soldering, and I'm not very good at soldering, so okay, I could put stuff together and it's fine, but I'm not fast. And you, maybe there's a name for this, and I don't know what it is, but he was hand soldering some SMD stuff, just kind of R&D type situation, but it was watch Creighton solder, and it was he just drug a line and soldered all this stuff faster than I knew was even possible to do by hand. It was the craziest thing. But
yeah, because he's doing surface mount stuff, it is a lot quicker. Yep.
Oh, yeah. I just couldn't. It blew my mind. I was like, whoa, dude. But anyway, that's totally really boring to listen to me talk about and not actually watch it. So we won't talk about it anymore. End of story. So let's go back. So you say that not a lot of rad stuff comes out at NAMM, but I heard there was a guy in your booth or something that came out with an amp.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
No clue. No nothing?
Clue. Oh. No clue.
Nothing was shown.
No, we did show. We had a few pedals from the last winter NAMM that we've been trying to get out that we haven't been able to get out for a couple of different reasons, but we're almost there. almost there. And then we did debut a new amp I've been working on. Called I'm calling it the JCM 800.
I've never heard of that. I think that name is totally not taken. I think you're fine.
I did a trademark search and I didn't see much for it, so I think we're okay there.
Yeah, well, if that don't work, just call it the Deluxe.
You know what? I've often thought about calling it the Deluxe. Yeah. Maybe a blackface Deluxe. You know?
Yeah, I think that's totally clear.
No, but seriously, yeah, we did show our prototype of an amp we're coming out in October, and I call it the pedal platform amp. And then, and I did see some comments, like I guess we did a few videos of it and stuff, and there was some Facebook activity on area asking about it, saying, yeah, well, what about all the other companies that are have came out with their perfect pedal platform amp type thing? And I thought about it. I'm like, well, it's kind of from a different perspective, though. I mean, those are amp companies who say, we think this would be a great amp for pedals. I'm approaching it as a guy that has had a bazillion amps and obviously a bazillion pedals. And, some things work good, some things don't work good. And I've figured out what I like and don't like and what works and what doesn't work based on all these different pedals. And, it's coming from a pedal builder's perspective of what makes a good pedal amp. And I think that's different because a lot of amp guys are more into amps, So like it's got to break up, it's got to have a good gain, got to be able to get a great crunch out of it. And like my thought is no, it just whenever you put overdrives and distortions in front of it, it has to be able to take those characters on from those different distortions, and it has to it has to have a really nice compression and a really good clean, but not chirpy like some of the other amps will get. You really don't want it to break up too awful much, even when it's up all the way.
Right.
Because once you start breaking up, if you add an overdrive in, then you start just kind of, you get more of the sound of the amp rather than the sound of the pedal, if that makes sense. So, and with all these, with all the different types of pedals, there's a million different tones you can get from dirt pedals and fuzz pedals and whatever, and it's hard to get that to come across on some amp platforms.
Right. Yeah, I think there like you say, there are some out there that do well, and a lot of them do. But I think you're right about it being a different perspective. Like, just make it the blank canvas that you want to paint on, essentially. I think it's an interesting concept, and I'm kind of excited to put my ears on it sometime and see throw a bunch of dirt at it and see what it can do. That'd be cool.
Well, I wouldn't throw dirt at it. I probably would just,
You wouldn't throw dirt clods at it?
No, probably not do that. That's probably not going to do much except get it dirty.
You don't think it can handle it? Pfft, come on. I
didn't build it to withstand dirt clods. That's all I'm saying. That's not covered in the warranty.
You said that. Hey, I heard on a podcast you said this amp could take dirt, so I took it to the mud competition, and you know what? It can't. It don't even work anymore.
I had it in the back of my truck because I had the Outlaw Dipper riding next to me there in the mud pit, and that thing does not take mud at all, dude.
Nope. It got muddy though. It sure got muddy when we threw dirt at it.
Yeah, that's not the same kind of dirt I'm speaking of.
No.
So.
Oh, okay.
No.
I'll go back to school then. Interesting. So can you? What about? I know you. This is already going to be all over the internet by the time this comes out. But for those that haven't, like, what are the specs on this thing?
Well, there's so right now there's a couple different versions. There is the head, a 212 cabinet, and a combo 112. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's XL6 based, which puts it around 40 watts or so, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
But and I want to make sure where NAMM demonstrating, I want to make sure people understood that just because it's 40 watts does not necessarily mean that it's going to blow your ears out. You know what I mean? Because what I'm doing signal wise in order to make sure it's not breaking up. As you're turning it up, and it's still compressing really nice down low or up high. You know what I mean? Like I want it to be as good down low as I want it to be up high. So in order to do that, you have to do different things with the signal in order to accomplish that. And as a result, that makes it not as loud when it's on 10. So if I had to say like how loud it is compared to something else, I would say it's probably going to be as loud as 20-25 watt amp or something.
Okay.
So not super. So it's the type of thing like you could use it in church and have it down low, and it's still going to sound good. You're if your buddy has like a 100-watt Marshall, it's probably not going to hang with that.
Right.
But I mean, you know what I mean? Just because those things are loud. But yeah, it's just the whole idea was that the higher wattage actually gives it a little more. I think it gives it a little more girth, a little more bottom end, a little more. And I hate to use like all these buzzwords, but it's really the only way I can describe it. A little more bloom, so to speak. Like I think lower wattage amps, they always sound like small amps, and I hate that. I like the sound of a big amp. I just don't like how you usually have to push them so hard. So that's what I was trying to accomplish, and that's why it's 40 watts.
Gotcha. And was some of that volume brought down based? Did that have something to do with your speaker choices?
That's a little bit of it. I mean. For me, the speaker choices were more about the sound because I want it to be neutral. So think of it this way. Think of a deluxe reverb, and if you ever played a deluxe reverb, you know how it's pretty scooped out, right? Like,
oh yeah,
it's just kind of scooped and kind of chirpy. So if you change the EQ around and change the EQ between stages and stuff, so that way when the knobs are all at noon, that it's really, really neutral. So therefore you can kind of use the EQ like you would, kind of like an EQ pedal where you can actually cut or boost bass.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Or bass or mids or treble or whatever. Then think of it that way. So it's like a very neutral platform there. It also does have a bright control on it that like a lot of amps will have like a bright switch, right? Like this is bright, this is not bright.
Mm-hmm.
And now, and what most amps are doing there is they're changing a capacitor off of the volume control. And so one of the things I've been experimenting with is I like the idea of having the chime, but there's like a lot of times there's like bright is too much, off is not enough. So I have a rotary selector that has like all different like here's like your traditional kind of dull sounding, and then all these different selections all the way up to nice bright chimey. You know what I mean? So everything in between for the guy that who knows what kind of speakers he wants to use with the head. You have to, and so that operates different than like a presence control, totally different than that. So and it works really good for pedals because you can, if you're running a pedal and it's like it's a little bit too chirpy, you can just dial back that brightness a spec, and it's perfect.
That's really cool. I actually love that idea. I've ran into that quite a lot actually, where the bright is too much and then the other way is no good. It's no bueno.
Right. And that's what's funny is I had talked to several different amp guys about my idea of doing this a while back. And they're like that, and I was telling them about what I wanted to do with the bright switch, and they're like, "That's stupid. Why would you do that?" And I'm like, "You don't. You're looking at it like an amp builder. You have to look at it like a pedal guy. You know what I mean?"
Mm-hmm.
And so they, I won't name any names, but yeah, I was told that was dumb, unnecessary. Like that's unnecessary. All you need is one switch, bright or not bright. And I'm like, no. What if you're using a Strat on one song and then a Les Paul on another? That's like you don't necessarily want totally dark and totally bright,
Right. No, I'm actually kind of thinking more when you started when you were talking about amp guys versus pedal guys. Most amp builders that I know, this is not a this is a generalization, but they don't all fit this category. But most of them do not use that many pedals. Most amp builders that I know.
Well, that's the thing, and that's why I've been trying to stress to people. I mean, this is coming from a whole different paradigm because, like you just said, most amp builders are like, maybe an overdrive or two, maybe something like that. But for the most part, they just want to crank up an amp.
Yeah.
And I'm approaching it from a guy who's got a huge pedal board full of stuff, and he just wants everything to sound good. He just wants he doesn't want to have to switch. Well, this pedal doesn't sound good with this amp, so I can't take that tonight. Like, he wants everything to sound good. He wants to know that he can buy. I kind of joked about this on the videos. He wants to know he can buy a metal zone and it's still going to sound good on his amp.
Right. And not a metal zone with the EQ mod.
No, like a straight up out of the box metal zone.
I just thought of your customer. Unfortunately, he just went on a big amp buying spree. So hopefully he'll have some more money by the time you release it. Jay Leonard J. That guy.
Yeah, I know Jay. Yep.
Really wants, like, he was talking to me about basically what we're talking about. He's like, I just need something that's always going to work in all of my gigs. And he plays everything from like pop to like rock and roll, blues.
Right.
He plays everything. So he was like, I want something that's going to work with all of my stuff, no matter what my situation is. That it may not be, like the perfect thing for each situation, but it's going to sound good for everything. And I'm like, while you're talking about this, I'm like, this is a perfect amp for Jay.
Well, that's the thing. It's the perfect amp for guys who love pedals. You know what I mean? Guys who, need a lot of different overdrives and a lot of different flavors because they do a lot of different things. So, and like I said, that's the idea of a pedal. That's what happens when a guy who has been working in pedals for 15 plus years decides that he's going to start making an amp that's perfect for pedals. Yeah. That's what you get.
I love it. You've sold me. I'm sold.
I mean, honestly, it's. I mean, and I'm not. I mean, it sounds bad coming from me when I'm like, no, seriously, it's really good. Like, I'm going to say, actually, it's okay.
If I'm being perfectly honest, it's mediocre.
If I'm being honest, like, we probably could have done better.
We didn't put out the best thing that we know how to do. I mean, there's time constraints. Well, what do you want from me?
Right. Yeah. So, but I mean, honestly, like, it's been I've kept it. Well, I've kind of talked to you about how I've been messing with amps for a while. But I mean, as far as out to the public, I've been pretty quiet about this whole scenario. So, I just felt like it's time, man. I want to put some more stuff out there, and put out the amp that I wish I could have had bought, years ago. You know what I mean?
I do.
So,
I do know what you mean.
So there you go.
Well, I'm excited about it. If nobody else is, at least I am. Does that mean anything to you?
Well, yeah. I mean, since I'm only building like 400 of them, all I need you to do is write it out, check real quick. You can just buy them all.
Yeah.
You're already there, right?
I'll take 300. I'll take 300 of them. That's the best I can do.
Oh, bummer.
I'm sorry.
The cool thing with this amp is, I mean, we did do an amp a few years ago that was, I say we did an amp, like we built like a handful of them, literally like 4 or 5 of them. And
the Coyote?
And it wasn't really designed for this at all. It was just like me going, I really like the brown face deluxe. I think I'll just build a handful of them. And if a couple people want one, then that's cool. If not, then that's cool. You know?
That's kind of cool, though. Like, I'm trying to think. Where did I see one? I know I've seen it. Maybe I've seen it in a video you did or something. I don't know. Well, I know I've seen it.
Yeah, I've had one of those Coyotes that's behind me in a lot of those videos.
Oh, that's probably it. Oh, I've seen Alex's, too.
Yeah, and Alex Clay. Yeah, Alex Clay has one. Yeah. So does Brad Paisley.
Just look at him. Get out of here, Dr. Z. We got the Coyote.
Well, I mean, he has one. He has like 400 Dr. Z's, so I'm not. That's nothing to brag about. That's just it's in the studio somewhere, just in case.
Because you never know. You may need that brown face deluxe sound.
It's a good brown face deluxe sound, man.
I love the brown face deluxe.
But this one, seriously, this one is. I mean, this is going to be. It's going to be released to our retail base as well.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah, so it's going to be. It's hand wired here in America, of course.
Yeah.
Mostly by my kid in elementary school and his friends. But no, I'm teasing. I'm totally teasing.
Hey, you guys, if you guys come over and breathe in some solder fumes, Uncle Brian will feed you all the high C ecto cooler you can drink for sure.
It's a field trip, a soldering field trip. Everyone, grab your soldering gun. Yeah.
No, not by the tip.
Use the handle. Not responsible for accidents.
Did your mom sign the waiver? Okay, good. All right, we're good.
No, so yeah, handmade here in America, hand wired, 2 buffered effects loop, which of course you got to have, you know, a very good buffered effects loop, and so that's my big excitement for the past week. I've spilled the beans, I've let it all out. That's all I got.
All right, well, that's a big deal. So that you have a right to be excited. That's cool. That's very, very cool. Nice job, Brian.
Well, I did it for you.
You just for me?
Just for you.
All 400 of them?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel special. I don't know what I'm going to do with all of those amplifiers, but...
Better get on the phone. Start calling your friends.
Leon, Jess, get over here. I got the deal of a lifetime for you. Anyway.
Normally, yeah. So, and just for anyone who's wondering, so heads $18.95, 212 cabinets heads $18.95, 212 cabinets $8.95. The combo is going to be $2,095.
Not bad.
And to answer any questions, like I answered one on YouTube a little ago, like how come Fender can make them for like $1,000? Well, that's because they're not made with cheaper, less expensive components. They're not PCB based. It's made here in America by American human hands and
American children hands.
Elementary school kids who have an interest in electronics.
That's right. A forced interest, but an interest nonetheless.
Exactly. So yeah, so that's it, man.
Sweet. Well, that's exciting stuff.
Yep. So that's all I got for this week.
I can't top that. So I'm.
What amp did you bring out this week, huh?
I come out with a podcast. Does that count?
That's cool, but that's not amplifier cool.
No, it's not. I can't compete with that. I'm sorry. I don't have any amps coming out that I know of. I mean, maybe someone stole my trademark and it's a Tone Mob branded amplifier.
You never know. You may have 400 show up at your doorstep with an invoice after that. You know?
There'll be a man saying, "Will you sign here, please?" And that'll be however many.
That'd be $400,000. That's probably wrong math.
Oh, is that it? Well, you're giving me the wholesale cost, so it's okay.
No, I have no idea.
I can't top that. I have nothing more exciting than that that I can not that I can talk about at this juncture. Right. Anyway.
Well, why don't you lead us out for this week, Blake, Mr. Tone Mob?
Okay. Wait, that's my ending. I can't use my own ending on your show, can I? That's not how this works.
You can say whatever you want. You can just like throw down the microphone and be like, I'm out of here.
Let me think. I can do better than that. No, I can't. I'm out of here.